Hello, hello, hello. How we doing? It's my first live in a while. Pumped to be here. Pumped to have you with me. Prince Michael Jackson is going to be joining me very soon. The legend himself. Just going to send him an invite to join us now. We're going to be talking here, Los Angeles. Pumped about it. Pumped for you to hear more about what he's been doing.
All right.
Incredible. There he is.
What's up, Liam?
How you doing, brother? You all right?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm pumped to be having this chat. I'm pumped that people are going to be joining us. I'm pumped that people are going to be finding out a little bit more about what you've been doing because it's really incredible, man.
Definitely. And thank you. I love your background, Joe. It's
Thanks,
really,
bro.
very cool.
I'm just at home, and I like to surround myself with kind of obscure and crazy things that put a smile on the face of people. That's why we've got SpongeBob. I've got my record collection, you know. But no, where are you now? You at home?
Yep. I'm in my virtual office.
There we go. The dog's around. You got the pups?
Yeah, I got OG over here. Harley. I don't know where she is. I don't know.
You're a dog guy. Took the more. Oh, hi pups. How you doing? Look at that face.
My sandwich.
Nice. I took the more obscure method when it came to getting animals. I got myself 2 turtles and a snake.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love reptiles, yo. At one point I had like 5 snakes, 2 large lizards, and it was a lot. It was a lot. I had anacondas, not like what my dad had, but man.
Yeah, that man was wrapped in these big, like these huge, like that's crazy. What type of snakes did you have?
They got really big. They didn't get big as like the snakes you're talking about. They were the same type, but they were much younger. I had a reticulated python, 2 anacondas, and a Colombian boa constrictor, a red tail. It was a lot.
That is a lot. See, it's all fun and games until you learn what you have to feed them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you start to think, what have I kind of done here?
Yeah,
for those that don't know, you have to feed them live mice, or if it's a bigger snake, like live rats. Like
and if it's even bigger, rabbits. And that's kind of what did it for me. Is like I had to kill a rabbit twice, and I was that's
a rabbit, bro.
That
snake must have been huge.
Yeah, it was big.
That's crazy.
Huge.
That's crazy. Anyway, we've got a lot of ground to cover. Lots to chat about. As I say, I'm so impressed with what you and your co-founder at Heal LA, John, have built. When you look at how many people you've helped already in such a short time of being a not-for-profit, it's pretty incredible. The sky's really the limit, I think, with where this can go. As I say, lots of ground to cover. I feel like a good place to maybe start for those that don't know is kind of how did you form this? Where did Heal LA come from? And when did you get started?
Thank you for all those nice words, by the way. You know, we're just trying to do what we're trying to do, but it started at LMU. It started a lot before, because when I was growing up, my dad really wanted to instill the idea of giving back, because we are so fortunate that we owe it to our community and to our brothers and sisters to pay it back into the community in any way that we can, and to be of service, you know. And so I had already kind of done that when I was in high school. And then when I went to college with John Mudo, or I actually went there, we met in the middle of the night. He kind of surprised me. He's like, "You're Michael Jackson's son." And he's been inspired by my dad, seeing him on TV and doing all his philanthropic work. And John, at an early age, knew that's really where he wanted to be as far as his career and what he wanted to do with his life. So we were kind of tracking on very similar paths, but in different ways, you know. And when we both went to LMU and we met, excuse me, he ran into me, you know, in the middle of the night. He told me he had this great idea. And I said, Liam?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Where did I cut out?
We're back in action.
When we met up at night, he said he had this idea. He wanted to do a student service organization, which is something that our university offered, where you could basically be a nonprofit through them and just work within the community. And John had this idea of creating a student service organization that would help the children of Los Angeles and actually offer it to, excuse me, not anybody necessarily related to the LMU community, but also outside of that. So, you know, I asked him to get it to me in writing. He brought back this pitch proposal, which I have somewhere in a safe. And that was basically the beginning of Heal Los Angeles LMU. And back then we were focused on child abuse, child hunger, and homelessness in the Los Angeles area. We worked with a bunch of great foundations. I think my favorite one was Habitat for Humanity.
Nice.
And that one we basically raised enough money to furnish children who were in the foster system. When they become 18, they are not required, like their parents are not required to keep them in their house. And a lot of times they'll just kick them out at 18 and they'll be 18 and not know where to go. And that was really cool. We furnished a house. It was awesome.
There you go. Nice work, bro. Obviously you mentioned your dad kind of instilling or putting those values into you. Obviously he had the Heal the World Foundation, which he launched in 92. I was doing some research on some of the charitable stuff that he's done, man, and it's mind-blowing. Guinness World Records recognized him for supporting 39 charities, which is more than any other entertainer ever. He was nominated twice for a Nobel Peace Prize for his humanitarian work.
That's news to me, to be honest. I did not know that. That's really
Isn't that crazy? Once in the 90s and once in the early 2000s.
Wow.
So his work in this field was obviously a massive inspiration for you. I guess, what have you taken away from those learnings that you've kind of put to work with what you're doing at Heal LA?
That's such a good question, to be honest, because I only have, obviously, the memories that I have of him and what he's left behind for us to really try and navigate this philanthropic ideals. And he really taught us at an early age principles as far as, you know, leading with love, trying to listen with open heart and open ears. So I think those are the main principles that I've tried to apply to both the Heal Los Angeles Foundation and my everyday life. Is when you lead with love, your initial steps, you're already off to a good start. You know, and I think when you come from that perspective, your entire goals and objectives for what you want to do really changes. Right. And as far as listening with an open heart, it really means to not really impart your biases. As human beings, it's natural for us to have biases. And this is how I've translated it up until this point in my life. You know, it may have a whole new meaning as I get older, but how I've tried to apply it as far as the teachings that I learned from him is when you try to not impart your biases on people's thought process and opinions, and you really listen to what they need and what they're telling you they need, you're able to better help them. And so that's another principle that we've adopted as well as a foundation, and that I try to do in my everyday life.
Awesome, bro. And as you say, like, the most important thing really is to lead with love. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, obviously donations are wonderful. We have a donation thing here in the chat. But a lot of people think that you need to be donating money to help in some way, shape or form. But it's a lot more than, I guess, that. You know, you can go and put a smile on someone's face, and that in itself is helping someone by, you never know what type of day they've been having. You know what I mean? It's the small things that really can amount to, as you say, making the world a better place. Over the last few years, I know that Heal LA's donated, what's the number now? Is it tens of thousands of meals?
20,000 meals.
20,000 meals.
30, yeah.
That's amazing, man. How do you, I guess, go about who gets the meals? How do you decide where these meals should end up?
So that program was originally because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And at the onset of this pandemic, a lot of people didn't know how long it was going to last. So they started buying up food. And then that meant food banks, who usually supported local communities that were in desperate need of food, ran on a shortage, and they actually didn't have food. So we realized that there was this gap that really needed to be filled as far as people with food insecurity. So we were fortunate enough to be connected to Fresh and Lean through a friend of mine, and they just wanted to help the community in any way they can. They have a lot of extra food that if it didn't get sold, it would go to waste. So we wanted to help kind of aid in that problem. They had already been donating a lot of their food. So we have a board member named Ray Dennis, and he runs kind of a food giveaway program that was traditionally supported by the food bank. But since everybody had started buying stuff up, even the food bank started running out. So we just decided to kind of fill that gap specifically in that community. And it's definitely been just very gratifying to be able to help them. But I think it's just so awesome really to see, because it's Ray Dennis's church who runs the entire program. They were out there 5 days a week handing out meals, and they're just a really cool community. You know, they're super fun and just really cool to be around.
Yeah, cool. And good on you for actually getting out there and doing it yourself. You know, you see a lot of people talking about charitable efforts, but you're actually there on the ground, being the one yourself, handing out the meals, and that's really cool to see. I'm sure people would get a thrill from that as well. But you're not just giving away meals. Something I find fascinating about what HLA has been doing recently, especially within the pandemic, has been hosting online cooking classes. Tell us about those. How do people get involved? What does that look like?
Right now we're still in our developing phase as a foundation. So we really believe in digging deep into a community as opposed to just having a far outreach, because if we can significantly make an impact in the community, then we can start doing our outreach. So we had identified a bunch of neighborhoods, specifically by zip code, that had the highest cases of childhood obesity or childhood diabetes. And we recognized that we needed to implement some of our initial ideas for programs, such as a cooking class to teach better eating habits, as well as a physical fitness clinic to help with the exercise. And so we reached out to the school districts in the highest areas as far as zip code of these places. And we landed with Laredo Street Elementary, and they've been super awesome to work with. But we initially made this contact before the pandemic happened, and we were going to make this class an in-person during the school day, where they would just basically be taught about nutritional values of different types of food, as well as hands-on class with vegetables and stuff like that. But obviously kids got sent to online learning, and we didn't really know what we were going to do. But I'm really happy to say that it's better that it's online, because it was amazing. Parents are a part of the class. Kids are sending us photos. We heard they're having competitions as far as who can make theirs look better.
Right.
It was really awesome, really awesome. And a lot of parents loved it. I wouldn't be able to grab one quickly, but the menu and everything that they made was amazing.
Is it stunning? Yeah, cool. Yeah. And it's cool. I guess you say it's kind of cool that it's online, because that means more people can get involved.
Exactly. Well, this is the other side of it, is actually the most important part. We send the groceries to their house on the day of, so they're getting enough food to cook for a family of 4 or 5.
Wow.
And they get all the necessary seasoning and everything like that. So they actually don't need anything but a kitchen and some knives, to be honest. And then obviously their parents help for the knives. So our first class was, I believe, 30 kids and families, and that went really well. We just got some good news that we're looking to continue this program because it was so well received. We're going to make some tweaks and changes and bring it back in the next semester through Laredo Elementary School. So I'm not entirely sure how the selection process goes from there, because we're still building it out to seeing if we can maybe increase the number. But that's really where that program is being offered right now.
Cool. And as you say, there's so much room for growth. You know, it can go beyond schools and everyone can get involved. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I also want to say thank you to everyone who's been donating so far in this chat. 233 raised so far. That's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. I guess that's a good question, is when people are donating, what is the money going towards? Where can they expect their funds to go?
So for me, I'm going to do this whether people donate, whether people don't donate. So where the money is going to is really to the programs. We raised in 2019, that's crazy. But for our Thriller Nights party, we raised $6,000 from Medterra's CBD company, and they had basically gave us all the funds for our virtual cooking class. And
Cool.
that's what they did, is all that money went straight to providing that service. And it was amazing. In the future, I'm looking to do, John and I, we're already doing a fitness clinic, and we've learned so much this year from that and what we can do to change it, make it better for the next time we offer it. But I think that I got so much from art, and I want to share that, music, instruments, whatever it is. So some type of art class would be really cool to offer, and then financial literacy as well. That one's super important though. So we're still working on how to bring that about.
Totally. Well, an art class or a music class, it just makes sense coming from, the Jacksons.
Exactly.
I'm sure you won't be teaching it yourself though, because he didn't get the music bug.
No, I when I was in college, I actually took a guitar class, and I was really against it because I just needed to take it to fill like my unit list, as an elective.
It's just one of those subjects, yeah.
A regular class, but I actually had to learn how to play, and it became a very kind of therapeutic activity for me to do. I wish I continued with it, but playing guitar is really hard on your hands, actually. You build up thick calluses.
Yeah, I feel like you're either one of those people that can do these things, or you can't. My dad's an amazing guitarist, but when I was younger, I tried to play every instrument under the sun. My parents put me in piano classes, guitar classes, drum classes. Just none of them really worked for me.
Yeah.
It's either one of those things that you have it or you don't.
Yeah, my sister taught herself how to play piano. It's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely not for me.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Talk to me about the future, I guess, of PLLA. You mentioned the Thriller Night Party. We'll get to that shortly. I know at the moment we're focusing on the community of Los Angeles, but I know that eventually it's something that you kind of want to extend above or beyond the Los Angeles area. I guess, what are your goals in terms of expansion over the next couple of years?
So originally, this obviously is inspired by my dad, both from my inspiration and from John's inspiration. And it's this idea of inspiration that is also a founding element to the foundation itself, is that we would like to inspire like-minded youths, really, but anybody who's our peers, to take initiative and go about in their community and enact change. So that's kind of a wishful thinking future for Heal LA, is that we would be able to establish and inspire young kids across the country and across the world to take action. From a realistic standpoint, I would love to expand to the communities that we feel really need help. LA is just kind of my home, and I feel like there's a lot of people that need help here, but there's so many places, so many cities just in this country alone, and if you look at the world, and there's so many awesome causes happening out there that I don't want to put a cap on what it could be. There's so much potential and so much opportunity, but there is definitely going to be expansion, but we don't want to expand too quickly because we don't want to fail the people that we're helping.
No, exactly. You've got to start and kind of smash it out of the park in a way, and then and move on once you've done that. And people think of LA as being this glitzy, glamorous, money-filled place, which in areas it is. But there's also a lot of communities that, as we say, do need the help. So I think this is a great place to be focusing on for now. You mentioned the Thriller Night Party, which, bro, is a hoot.
Yeah.
That is just it's every time someone asks me about it, I've been to 3 now. Every time someone asks me about it, I have a tough time kind of explaining it, because it's just so good and it's so unique. So it's not like a normal Halloween party by anything at all. It's kind of extreme. So for those that don't know, explain the Thriller Night Halloween party that Heal LA puts on.
Thank you. Yeah. So we've been doing this, actually. We would have been doing it for 7 years consecutively. So this is going to be our 7th year actually hosting it. But we've been doing it. It originally started as a family party. We went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, and we went through the scary mazes, and we said we want to do that at our house, and we did one room, and people really liked it. And then we said, all right, 1 year we're going to do it for our school, and we did the whole property, and then people really liked it. And then we did that for one more time, and we realized we should be doing this for charity. And at that time, Heal LA was already a student service org, but my cousin, TJ, Taj, and Terrell with the D.D. Jackson Foundation, they were primarily hosting the event because we didn't have nonprofit kind of jurisdiction at that point. And so basically what it is it's a crazy Halloween party because we have very dedicated and passionate people on our team that love to bring Halloween to life. And there's just crazy decorations all over the house. It gets a complete makeover. There's ghosts in the windows, bodies hanging from trees. You know, we've got scary mazes throughout. One year we had like 4 to 5 miles worth of mazes in the property. Crazy. It's hot and sweaty, you know, and people are jumping out and scaring you. We go all out. And every year we try to outdo ourselves. So this year, Liam, I got to tell you, I think you're going to be excited. I think
Bring it on, bro.
Impressed.
Bring it on. You mentioned, you know, Halloween Horror Nights. Like, it really is to that standard. Like, you're going through, they have like actors who are coming out with chainsaws, and it's absolutely insane. And this dude right here gets in the mazes. Yeah. He's hanging around the party. He's mixing and mingling. He goes missing for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden he's chasing you with a chainsaw. These parties are a hoot, bro. I was the Cat in the Hat the last time I went to the party, and just the thought of you chasing the Cat in the Hat with a chainsaw, like it's insane. It's awesome. The event, we got to talk about where it takes place as well. It takes place at the Havenhurst House. For those that don't know the significance or about that place, can you explain a bit about why I guess that property means so much to you and to the family and to the fans?
Yeah, that property is an incredible piece of property. I'm going to be completely honest with you before I get into this. I may get cut out. I have a social media limit, and we may hit that. I'm just going to forget it if that happens, and I may have to come back in. Yeah. But that property is super important to my family because it was actually where they moved to when they moved out of Gary and they came to LA. It's also where my dad worked on Off the Wall and I believe parts of Thriller on the property. Wow. And it was a very, very special house because all the family kind of grew up there. And then after my dad died, myself, my siblings, and the rest of our cousins also grew up there, you know? So it's kind of like a generational thing where we're just growing up there, you know what I mean? And it's really cool that we're able to use this property that has such special meaning. And it's not any property that my dad has really touched, honestly, has taken on a completely different meaning because of the attention to detail. You know, when you actually are on the property and you look in, you see display windows of, you know, Peter Pan and Neverland and stuff like this. So there's little elements of wonder, you know?
Yeah.
And you feel that.
It feels like, it feels like, as you say, like almost like a Disneyland type feel. I never went to Neverland, but obviously the Havenhurst House, like I went for an explore one time. I was there, and the memory room is there's like this room, you go up these stairs and the walls are plastered and hundreds, even thousands maybe of photos from your family's career and life and growing up in Indiana to all the achievements that they achieved. The personal touches in that place is amazing. So it really is cool that you're able to hold the event there for the fans. And I know that it's really a family affair, the Thriller Night parties, because I know that your younger brother, BG, plays a big part in kind of putting everything together. I've never met the dude, but every time I've seen him running around the Thriller Night party, making sure everything's perfectly in place and everything's ready to go. So it seems like the whole family really comes together to make it something special.
Yeah, it's a really fun night for the family. He's been very involved in every year. Leading up to it. Unfortunately, he's very focused on his first in-person semester at LMU. So he's going to be taking kind of a back seat for this year. So myself and Taj are working on the mazes, and we have a lot, obviously, to kind of live up to. Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, he did a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, he really did.
Crazy to see this kid just running around, just kind of running the show. He seems like a little creative genius. That's kind of when he was doing that. Pleasure to see. Obviously, I'm seeing a bunch of fan questions come through. I'd love to take some of those. If anyone has a question for Prince, now's your time to ask it, whether it be about Heel LA, what he's doing at the Thriller Night Party. Please let us know. I've seen a few come through on different social networks, one from Twitter. This is interesting. I don't even know if this is an answerable question, but a few people have been asking. Obviously, we spoke about the significance of holding the event at Havenhurst. And Justice for Some on Twitter says, I know the family isn't affiliated with Neverland anymore, but has the idea ever come up of holding an event there?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, of course. And Neverland is just one of those. It's a one of a kind property. It is truly magical when you're on there. And I'm speaking from recent memory as Ron Burkle, the man who purchased the property, was a very good friend of my father and is a good friend of the family. And it still has that magic in there. You know, it's just still wonderful. And John Muto and I had discussed at the beginning of Heal LA, like LMU, how cool it would be to host an event at Neverland. And never again want to say never, you know, right. But I don't want to say it's impossible either. It's actually probable. It's probable. It's probable. There we go. Cool event there. Yeah.
That would be really cool. You definitely feel the magic and the spirit there for sure. I'm seeing a question here from Lovin' What I Do. Says, is the Thriller Party public, and can the public come?
So John Muto is handling the, I don't really know how to explain this, but for donations, that was my time limit.
He's back. What is it, a social media limit? What is that telling you? Was it telling you off for being on Instagram for too long?
Exactly. I try to exercise control with that, because otherwise it just becomes a time sink. You know, you're just wasting time on Instagram. So, but when you're using it for business reasons or for, you know, personal reasons, it's a lot different. But just sitting there on the Explore page, it's like, no, got to stop that.
What about, does it ban you from TikTok? Have you gotten into TikTok yet?
I have not. It's more of just like, I'm so against doing the dances that I do not want to download TikTok. But so many people are telling me to get it. I think my girlfriend might have downloaded it, but you won't see me doing the TikTok dances.
The TikTok dances. All right, we can cross that off the list of things that could. That's a dangerous one for sure. Sorry, back to the question that someone was asking about making the party public.
So it is, before the pandemic, it was a limited number of people that were allowed to be there. So we have our sponsors that have their people. We have certain friends of the family that we invite to come there as well, and just previous donors for that. So after we make sure all those are accounted for, we have a certain number of tickets that are kind of left over. And if you're interested and you want to figure out how to do that, I would definitely go to the Heal Los Angeles Instagram and message there, because John Muto handles all the messages. He's great. He does have to get through all of them, so sometimes it takes him a little while to get there. But I know that is what he's working on this week, is getting to the messages. So
very cool. Well, hopefully, if people do get the chance to do these things, they can. And as we say, Heal LA is just going to keep growing and growing, and who knows what events and things can be held in the future.
Yes.
Now, I'm seeing, obviously, a lot of BTS fans in the comments here. We love that. I'm a big fan of the BTS guys. I've gotten to see them grow and kind of evolve into the guys that they are now. I know that you've listened to them. A lot of people wanting to know your thoughts on the band.
I'm sorry, on the who? The BGs?
BTS.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant BG like my brother. I was like, I didn't know yet.
Oh, BG has a band? Yeah.
No, I mean, I love them. I think they're fantastic. You know, I have some memories of being over at Barry Gibbs' house with my dad and Chris Tucker. I know he did like a joke about it. I don't remember being there for that specific joke, but they were just really cool guys, and who doesn't love the Bee Gees? You know what I mean? Such iconic disco songs, and just even before and after, you know, they just really were really awesome group, really awesome.
Yeah, legends. We're talking influential bands. BTS, the K-pop act, huge, massive band, massive group, probably the biggest act in the world at the moment. I don't know if we're going to see something like that ever again. Heaps of BTS fans in the comments. Obviously, they've taken huge influence from your dad. Like Dynamite, the choreography was very MJ influenced. One of their latest songs, Butter, starts with smooth like butter, like a criminal undercover, already getting that smooth criminal reference in there. When you see acts like that who are just doing their own thing, kind of tributing your dad in such a nice way, but doing it in their own kind of way, that must make you thrilled, eh? Definitely.
And BTS is, I mean, you're definitely correct. Yo, their music kind of transcends culture and everything like that. They're a once in a lifetime act, you know, and it's very interesting to see them. And when I see that level of influence being influenced by my father, it's really cool for them to show that kind of the way they pay respect and homage to my father's honor and legacy. You know, it's really gratifying and really heartwarming to see that they have that much love and respect for him. And also it's super cool to see that my father was a trendsetter, you know, and that you can see that how they're kind of continuing those trends, but also adapting them for the modern era, you know, and then doing it their own way. It's really cool just to continue that creative flow.
Yeah, it's really cool, especially when the dudes are so dang talented. It's really wonderful to see. Another question coming in from New Zealand. Very cool. Quentin in New Zealand says, love the charitable work. Your dad would be proud, as all the fans are. You love riding your Harley, your motorbike. He asked us a great question, actually. Where globally would you like to tour? He says, being a motorcycling fan myself, I would thoroughly recommend the South Island of New Zealand. Great question, Q. Thanks for joining us. Is there a place that you would just dream of taking your Harley and giving it a go?
Actually, New Zealand and Australia are definitely top of the
Top
list,
of the list.
because the weather's pretty good from what I've been told. At least I don't think it snows too much.
Yeah.
And I heard the roads are beautiful. The videos I've seen, amazing. I met a guy who was taking his bike through Canada to Alaska.
Wow.
And I thought that was pretty incredible. And I kind of might want to do that, but I don't know. Anywhere that honestly they'll let me take a motorcycle, and I would feel safe, because I was in Italy and would not feel safe on a motorcycle out there, to be honest. Yeah. So I have no idea. South Africa would be a really awesome.
Oh, that would be crazy. Wow, that would be awesome. See, you're lucky in the States. The States does have quite a few cool places that you are able to go, but how magical is it to travel and to do what you love in places like that? And I agree. Being a New Zealander myself, I was just there for a few months, and dude, you'd love it. You would lose your absolute mind. It's such a beautiful place.
I'm really worried about going down there, because it might be, you know what? I think I'm staying here.
Exactly.
No, living down there.
That is the dangerous thing. One of my friends in New Zealand are like, "Why would you move from here to LA?" But you know, this is the place to be. But yeah, no, it truly is a great place. I'm just scrolling through the fan questions here to see what we've got. Someone asks if you're still directing.
I try to. You know, it's still kind of a passion of mine as far as the entertainment industry. But I'm also trying to explore financial literacy is something that's very important to me personally, as well as philanthropically. Right. So I'm really recently, actually, I've really been trying to dedicate as much time as I can to broadening my horizons and my knowledge on financial literacy.
Right. Cool. Good on you, man. That's awesome. That's the thing. Being able to learn and to continue learning new things is kind of what life's about. Life's boring if you're not learning.
100%.
Also, thank you everyone for the donations. $404 raised so far. That's incredible. Thank you so much. As I say, no pressure to donate if it's not something that you can do. As I said, just think about how you can implement some of the things that we've spoken about within your own community. As I say, whether it's making someone smile, whether it's, you know, buying the person in front of you's meal or the coffee in front, like anything you can possibly do to help better someone's day, better someone's situation is always appreciated. So thank you so much to the people who have donated. We really appreciate that. Let me see what else we've got here. Someone asks, what do you think is the best way of keeping Michael's legacy alive, in your opinion?
Very good question. Very good question. I don't know if I know the answer to that. You know, clearly his legacy as the king of pop is, it's just, when you hear his music, no matter who you are, you want to move, you know, you got to dance. So that just by playing his music, I think keeps the legacy of the king of pop alive, you know. But I think if you want to keep the legacy of Michael Jackson alive, that's very complex, because he had so many facets and so many different ways that he wanted to help people, you know. I think listening to the message in his music and internalizing that and trying to see how you can, you know, take a look at the man in the mirror and make that change. So I don't know. It's a good question, to be honest, but I think the way I would try to continue his legacy is to, you know, continue to play the music, never turn it down, and continue the philanthropic work that he knew that we could make a change in the world.
Right, exactly. And as you say, turn that music up. I don't know if there's a person in the world who hasn't turned up a Michael Jackson song
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
had a groove to it. I mean, that's actually a good question. I guess this music it's everywhere. It really is. You can't go to a Walmart or a bar or anywhere without. I was on Hollywood Boulevard the other day and PYT was just blasting. You can't go anywhere without hearing that man's music. For you,
Exactly.
it must be a weird situation. Is it like, do you register whenever you hear it, or is it kind of like it's part of the everyday life now?
Uh, it's part of everyday life, but it's one of those beats where it's like, all right, you're dancing for no reason. And you're like, what am I dancing? Oh,
I see.
you know what I
Right,
mean?
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it's sometimes it doesn't initially catch on, but as soon as I'm listening to it, because I'm usually listening to other stuff, you know, like kind of what's going on. I usually try to make sure I'm not getting hit by a car.
Right, exactly.
But so stuff like that, you know.
How are the speakers on your bike? Are they pretty incredible?
I have them in my helmet, and
Oh,
once you go over a certain speed, like on the highways, you can't hear it too well. So you got to play loud music with deep beats to kind of get the general sense of where you are in the song.
what type of thing gets you going on that bike? Like, what type of music makes you really want to take it for a ride?
Well, I don't have Speed Demon on there because I will get pulled over for sure.
Right,
If I
you're
have
just
that
too
on.
crazy. You're
Yeah,
just
I had to remove that early. I actually have a wide variety of music, everything from like classical to pop, 2 or 3 country songs. And I just like to let it play on random. I think the different vibes kind of set the different vibe of the ride, you know, and it's
right.
just whatever I'm listening to is kind of how I'm riding.
Also, depending on where you are, like as you say, if you end up in New Zealand, like I'm sure you'll be listening to some nice, beautiful, scenic music. Where if you ride with
Exactly.
is that it completely changes the vibe and aura of the ride. Absolutely, mate. Hey, dude, I've had an awesome chat.
This is
I've, I've,
great. This is really
I've,
fun.
I've really enjoyed speaking with you. I love your energy. I'm amped about what you've been doing. I cannot wait to see you
Thank
next
you.
month at that Thriller Night party. You've hyped it up, bro. So I can't wait to see what you're planning there. Someone says I usually run red lights listening to Speed Demon. There you go.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
that's why.
Dangerous, dangerous.
Yeah, very very dangerous. Hey, I want to thank again everyone who's donated in here. $460. That's absolutely outstanding.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for that. Keep the legacy alive, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I know the fans are thankful that you're doing this. The community of Los Angeles is thankful. This goes so much further than, you know, just your father. You know what I mean? Like this is just a huge thing that you've got going on, man. And I know that he'd be proud as the fans are. So thanks for your heart.
Thank you. But let me ask you a question before we end.
Hit me, brother.
Obviously you're a Heel LA ambassador. How have you liked it?
I love it, bro. It's really cool. Thank you for having me.
Honored to have you, man.
Thanks, man. It's cool to be involved. You know, I was saying to you when I first came aboard, you know, I moved to LA in early 2017. I'm passionate about this city. I've gotten to know the communities. I know my way around the town now. It's nice to be able to be involved in something that's really making a difference for the youth here.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's as we were saying earlier, there's definitely some need for that here. So yeah, no, I'm loving being involved. So thanks for having me. And you've got some great people involved as well.
Yeah. It's a really cool team. We're looking forward to being able to engage everyone a lot more in the upcoming year, you know, hopefully as the pandemic starts to settle.
Yeah.
But we're super excited. I'm excited to see you at Thriller Nights, yo. It's going to be such a fun night.
That's gonna be crazy, bro. And that's true. As you say, when the pandemic ends, it'll be great to get everyone together and kind of just have some drinks, have some fun, and chat about the future and how we can continue this thing and kind of turn it into the best thing that we can.
Definitely.
So thanks to you and John for having me on board. Good on you for doing what you're doing, bro.
Thank you, bro. This was awesome. Good to talk to you, man.
Thank you, man. And thank you to everyone for commenting, for donating. As Princess said, it's going to an amazing cause, and we're just gonna keep building this thing and making it as great as we can. So peace and love, brother. And I'll see you soon.
Likewise, man. Thank you, bro.
Safe, man. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for the donations. We appreciate it. Just like that. Thank you, everyone. It's been awesome to have you here. It was awesome to have Prince here. Thank you for your time, Prince. Let me just look here. I'm just going to read some of the names of people who donated because that's absolutely incredible. Ro GM SH16, thank you for your donation. Jessica Linden, 1958, MJJ Justice Project. LY_Gross, thank you for your donation. It's truly incredible. Suzanne, thank you. Bree Goldstein, truly appreciated. Laura, thank you. Doville 0207, and Justice for Some, you're a legend. Miss Ross, Ms. Spence, Sasha Carmen, thank you. Lady February, Ron Dinosaur, Cream Cheese, thank you. Sue, Tai Mei Lei, Gigi, thank you. Lobinaire Artist, sorry if I said that incorrectly. Wad and Water, Miriam, thank you, Miriam, lots of love. You guys are just all awesome, and we're so thankful. Larissa, Carries, thank you. It's been awesome to have you here. Thank you everyone for joining us. Lots of love, and I hope we can do this again sometime soon. Peace.